Welcome to the Charity Connector. Hosted by Dominic Fenton and produced by Grow Radio, we give you an insight into the hearts of charities making waves in our world.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Charity Connector. I'm your host, Dom Fenton, and I am here with another guest. Hi Karen, how are you?
Hi Dom, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, good to be here.
It's great to have you on board with this. So we only met a couple of weeks ago, an event which was great. Karen, why don't you just tell people who you are and what you do?
Okay, well, I am Karen and I'm the CEO of SNAP Charity, who's based in Brentwood, Essex. And we are a charity who support families who have children with additional needs and disabilities. And we cover the whole of Essex, Thurrock and Southend, so quite a big remit. And we work with families with children 0 to 25 years old, any need. And it really is just a case of pick up the phone, have a chat with us, and we see how we can help and support you. So no diagnosis is needed, no referral is needed. It can be, a family who maybe is struggling with a bit of speech and language delay with a child and just wants some advice and guidance on where to go, right the way through to families who have children with very profound and complex needs. So I think we're quite unique, really, in the way we do support such a huge range of children and young people. And we were set up back in 1994. So it's our 30th anniversary this year, which is a pretty big achievement, I think, for a small charity. And we were set up by literally a group of parents sitting around a kitchen table in Brentwood who said, there's nothing out there. They all had children with a range of needs. There's nothing out there for us. How can we support each other? What can we do? And they set up a little preschool group on a Monday. And that's how it all started. And we still run a preschool group on a Monday in the SNAP Centre in Worley because we know how important those early years are for our children and young people. And we do it in a range of ways. So we do preschool sessions, we do after school clubs, obviously we've got our helpline and we've got all sorts going on through the holidays. So yeah, it's quite unique really in the way we do it. Sometimes I look at the calendar and I look at the list of everything we do and I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing? And we're currently supporting about 4,400 families. And I would say over the course of 30 years, we're probably not far off the 7,500, 8,000 mark of those families that we've helped support since we've been going. So it's quite a big thing.
Yeah. There's so much this to break down in terms of just that bit. 30 years. And to be fair, this is a really good time to do the podcast. Actually, yes. Then 30 years of this going on.
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning. So 8 parents around a table.
Yes.
And the sad bit, it's great that we've now got to this point, but I can imagine in other areas there's still another need for other 8 parents to sit around a table in other areas of the country.
Oh gosh, definitely.
Obviously, and I think this is some of the stuff we can get into. So 30 years ago, do you think they ever saw this? Do you think they ever saw where they're going to get to? Do you think this was a little project that they thought, actually, we'll do it just for our children, just to be involved in something? Talk to me about at the beginning.
I think I obviously still have quite a lot of contact with some of them. So Hilary, whose kitchen table it was, Hilary Needham, she's our honorary life president. She sort of stepped down from charity a few years ago, but she still comes to events that we run. Paula Hills, who was also around the kitchen table, comes and volunteers here and is a trustee. So we do have these conversations, and there are some others that have been key people that are still very passionate about the charity, who we are and what we do. And I think that initially it was just, there is this need, what should we do? Let's set up this little preschool group so that we can meet those families on a regular basis and sort of talk to them and see if we can sort of guide them. And the whole reason why SNAP was created was about that parent support. It wasn't actually about what we did for children, and it still isn't really. We do lovely things for children, but it's all about getting the parents together and making sure they connect with other people that are going through similar things and that they're talking to people that can help guide them and navigate the system, whether it be around education or health or social care or any area really, or understanding disability. And I think we had a big 30th anniversary ball at Stockbrook, and Paula and Hilary and I obviously were there for that. And I think they're blown away by the fact that it's here doing what it's doing 30 years on. And I think what we all find quite hard is that actually, in some ways, things are better. So there is more understanding a lot of the time around children and disabilities and diagnosis. I feel still we've got a long way to go, but I think we need it more than ever.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
they find that quite sad that, they hoped, I think, that by now things would be so good out there around support and guidance and whatever for families that probably maybe we wouldn't be needed. And actually, we needed more than we've ever been needed.
Yeah. I was going to say, how have you noticed a big increase over the last, obviously since lockdown?
Yeah,
And I sort of
huge.
look at two areas really. The fact that actually working with schools as I do, there are so many more children
Yeah,
that are going into school on the SEM register,
yeah,
on the register in school. And actually the needs of these children is just widening and widening
mm.
in terms of support they need. So yeah, what do you put that down to more children being diagnosed? Do you think do you what sort of things do you put that down to?
Yeah. I think that the need is huge, and definitely COVID has had an impact
Mm,
on children. We all know that. I mean, there's all
yeah,
that evidence out there.
yeah,
We've got a lot of little ones coming through, and it's like unpicking, well, would there be a need there if they hadn't gone through COVID
yeah.
when they were locked down at home? Especially there was a lot of research, I know, around 6 month olds being
Mm,
particularly hard hit around different bits and pieces, and obviously the huge mental health stuff around a lot of the
yeah.
kids and people. And a lot of our youngsters actually liked lockdown. They liked being at home. They didn't want to be. And the biggest problem has been getting them back out and back into school, because actually they loved being in the safe, light environment of their home. Mm. And so I think there have been lots of different things that have impacted on it. There's lots more understanding around diagnosis.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with someone the other day who is a grandparent and is now seeing their grandchild being diagnosed with autism, and actually having that realization themselves that actually that's me.
Yeah.
I just struggled all my life. I didn't understand it. Nobody really knew. I was just a bit socially awkward, very focused in my career. I stayed in my career for like 40 years because that was my thing. I knew I
Yeah.
could do, and it was very safe. So I think there's been loads of different things really that have sort of added to that. I mean, we initially at the beginning of this year, we'd seen in the first 3 months of the year, we saw a 22% increase in new families turning to SNAP. And to be honest, I was getting a bit worried because I was
Yeah.
like, how can we manage this need?
Yeah.
As a charity, how can we manage this need? And I think because there are so many things affecting other factors around us in education, health and social care that I've already mentioned, that there are lots of people are turning to voluntary sector because they're not getting what they need in other areas.
Yeah.
So they're coming to us to say, well, actually, we can't get what we want here. Where do we go? What do we do? Can you help us? Yeah, there's a lot. And I think I've been working with children with SEN for probably about 24, 25 years now. And I've been
Mm.
at SNAP for 18 years. And it is, yeah, it's a mess at the moment.
It's quite scary. It is quite scary. And a lot of the time, things have to get worse before they get better.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think because of the numbers of the children that are struggling,
Yeah.
I definitely think it's going to get a lot harder
Yeah.
before it starts to improve.
Yeah. And I think
You
that's a
know,
really hard thing when you've got parents coming to you, especially when they've got little ones, is that actually one of the words we use a lot now with our families is that compassion, guidance, and hope. Because
mm.
I don't actually want them coming here and being told that it's horrendous
Yeah.
and it's going to be
Yeah.
awful all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of real positive things that we can talk about that will help you get better outcomes for your
Mm.
child or young person. And I think that's always giving people that hope.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's tough. And yes, it has been better at times. We're going through a tough time, but actually there are still some things we can do and look at and work with.
Yeah.
And there are still some fantastic people out there doing some great stuff. Because yeah, if not, that's tough.
Yeah. And I think you've hit the nail on the head with that word, the hope. Because
Yeah.
actually, I don't think no matter what we do, we all need hope.
Yeah.
We all need hope that things are going to improve. We all need hope that we can get through to that next stage. We all need hope.
Yeah.
I think that's just as humans, that's what drives us.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And if you take away that, I think we're going to be in a much worse place.
Yeah.
If people don't have that hope.
Yeah. And something we've always said at Snap is, our club isn't the club anybody really wants to join. So when you have your child or your little, or this realization as they grow up that there is something going on there where you need some extra support, you don't really want to be joining our group.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to pick up that phone or walk through that door and say that actually we need you. And I think that's something we try to work really hard at, to break down those barriers and say, it's okay to come here. Our centre is really lovely. And everyone that walks through the door goes, oh, it's so warm and welcoming. It's got such a lovely feel about it. And it's so positive. And I think people think, oh God, am I going to come to this group and it's going to be all like doom and gloom and not very nice. And that's something we work really hard at, because we think that's really important. And I think also that understanding that it doesn't matter what your child's needs are. People quite often will say to me, oh, I don't think I should come to you because my child's not that bad. And we always say, no, it's not about that. It's about, what are you dealing with and how tough is that right now? And do you need some help? And we look at the right group. Sometimes we never meet the child. They don't need to come here. But actually, the parent really needs that help on navigating what they're going through.
Yeah, and we, in the world that I'm in, I see that quite a lot. So I see the fact that some of it, we talk a lot about communities being part of something. And I think that's really important, because I think actually when you're, as a parent, you may be going through something that you've never experienced before.
Yeah.
Or your friends, all your friends' children aren't like your child.
Yeah.
So you're there going, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to cope. I don't know. And actually we need to be around people who understand.
Yeah.
Who have gone through that same thing. So if a parent walked into, or a phone sort of called yourselves up, what could they expect right at the beginning?
Well, they'd get a family support advisor would be answering the phone, or one of our lovely team would be downstairs in the front office greeting them. And I think we are that listening ear. So there would be a lot of listening. What are you going through? What's going on? And trying to unpick what they're dealing with and work out what route that we can help them with and how we can do it. And I think that's also what makes our job tricky. Is, I don't know if you can hear the door ringing there. We've got a little preschool session starting in a minute, and some of them love ringing the doorbell. It's just going on and on.
Fine, that's fine.
You can hear the doorbell. We've got our little waiting outside, trying to get in. And I think that's why, as a team, I always say, we don't make our life easy, because we do really offer a bespoke service for every family that makes that call or comes through that door, and it's always different. There's no flow chart, Snap. You can't say, okay, you've got a child that's that age with that need, you're going to follow this path, because it's different, because actually they might not want that. That's not what I need. So we do look really at each individual person. That advisor will be really unpicking that with them. Okay, what do you need? Where are you at right now? And sometimes it might be sending them an email afterwards, some links to some information they might find useful. That's a huge part of what we do. Really good, useful, safe information. Google's great. It wasn't here when Stats started 30 years ago. Well, it probably was somewhere, but
probably in a different format.
Not like we use it now. But actually, it can be really scary, and it can take families off in directions that are really scary. So we have really good, useful information. It might be that we send them out that follow-up email with some really great links to stuff in. It might be that within a day or two they're in the building, because actually they really do need to come in here, meet with an advisor, or come to a session with their child. So it's a very bespoke service, really, for what that family really needs. Some people don't want to come in here because that's not what they feel they want right now, and that's fine. It can take them a while to come to that reasoning and acceptance. We quite often will offer individual sessions and one-to-one advice sessions. So when they do come in, they're on their own coming in for that. It's not into a big group session, because they might struggle to do that. So it's quite, again, like I keep using the word, it is unique.
Yeah.
It's a unique service that we're offering.
Yeah, no, and I think in some ways it has to be unique, though, because actually, as you say, everyone's different. Everyone's needs are different. And this is obviously a lot of the time where working with schools and working with groups, we try and fit everyone into the same.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. And I think, again, it takes a while. I'm a father of two girls. They're both doing well, both in secondary school, but I haven't then got the additional challenge of them having an additional need. So I feel very fortunate, but obviously the work I do, I work in that sphere, like we sort of discussed before we came on. But actually, it takes a while, I think, as well, for sometimes parents to admit it.
Yeah,
and I think actually, once they admit it's all, and I don't want this taken the wrong way, but it's almost like when you admit you need help, that's the first stage to moving forward, because you can always try and battle on your own and think, I've got this, and I've had my own mental health needs. I've had my own mental health challenges. But the biggest thing for me was admitting that I needed help.
Yeah.
And I think they're not, I'm not relating this to a mental health need, but actually, when people admit they need help, they're more likely to reach out.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And we have people that say to us, "Oh, I've had your number for years, and I wish I'd phoned you years ago. I just didn't feel ready. I couldn't do it." And we completely get that. We understand it. It's really hard making that call. And like I say, that's why like the team laugh at me here, because I'm really like on it about what the building looks like, whether we've got nice biscuits, making them a nice drink when they walk through the door, that everything is clean and well looked after, and it looks really lovely and the kids love it. The kids come in here. The bigger problem we've got is getting them out. They don't like to leave, but they just love it. And I think they realise, kids just know. They know there's somewhere that understands them. It doesn't matter if I have a meltdown. It doesn't matter what I do or how I behave here. No one's going to judge me. It's going to be okay. Yeah. And I think then parents relax, because they go, "Oh, do you know what? Actually, it's all right here." And again, if my child has a meltdown, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And it's that knock-on effect, and you see lovely things. Like I think my big thing when I walk through that centre, I don't always get to go in services as much as I'd like to now. I love it when it's really messy, when the kids are all in here and there's toys everywhere. Parents go, "Oh, it's really," I say, "I don't care. That's a sign of good session." Messy play, it's all going on. Yeah. And I love it when I see parents swapping numbers and saying, "Can we meet up out of here? Should we do that? Should we do that?" Or I hear they've set up a little, I don't know, they're going to the park, or they're doing a day out or something like that. Is, to me, that's like job done. We've introduced you to other people. You've got find your tribe, which you've and
I think that's so important. I do think that's really important, because actually you don't, when people get you and people are your part of your tribe, they don't mind that message out. They don't, because they know what you've gone through, or they know what you're going through. Yeah. And they're more willing to go, "Yeah, okay, that's fine. Just talk to me. Just if you're having a bad day and you want to vent to someone, vent to me. It's fine. Yeah. I won't take it personally. Yeah. But if you need to report, like type something really quickly just to get out your system, do that, because that's what works. Yeah. Yeah. So important. 30 years, amazing step to be at. Plans. Let's look at the next 2-3 years. Where are you looking for Snap to go? Any new things you're bringing in? Any new directions you're looking at?
Well, we're always analysing what we're doing and looking at it. So is it working? Is it what the families need? So, the team often come to me and they say, "Oh, we need to do a talk around that, because actually we're hearing on the helpline all the time, people are really, really struggling in this area. Let's get a speaker in. Let's do things like that." I think where do we go? Well, exciting news is that Brentwood Council have we've negotiated a new 30-year lease with Brentwood Council. So we've just signed off on that literally last week. So that is brilliant for us. So we are here in this building and we are okay. I suppose, the dream, if I had a magic wand, if I had limitless funds, it would love to be doing more work across the borough and the county. So, making sure that the team are out and about, doing different events in different parts of the county, maybe being in, I don't know, in an office of someone else somewhere. We've done a little bit of that with a fantastic organisation called BOSS. Yeah, I'm sure you've probably heard of them. That offers some fantastic respite and stuff for children and young people. We work closely with BOSS. We've done some stuff where we've gone over to Tyler Country Park. So our advisors are there. So if a family can't travel from Basildon to get into Brentwood, we can meet them in another area. So I'd like to be doing a bit more of that. Okay. Yeah. If we could expand our centre and take on a bit more space, obviously it would be wonderful. And we are looking at options around stuff like that. But that is tricky, because that takes more money. It's needed to do what you're doing. So there's lots of work. We talked a lot, Dom, didn't we, just now, about collaboration? Yeah. So we've having some interesting discussions with some other charities across the county to say, actually, could we do some more work with you? Because actually you've got some knowledge and expertise that we could do with, and we've got some knowledge and expertise you could do with. So there's been some exciting talks literally last week with 2 completely separate charities. So I'm really hoping we can grow and develop those, because I think that could really help. Because at the end of the day, in both those big meetings, we've said we just want to make sure that our families are getting the support they need and
Yeah.
are really help. I think one thing that worries me is we work 0 to 25, and what our big concern for many years has been that transition. Next steps, where do we go from here? And that say to us all the time, feel like I'm falling off a cliff edge. If I've been with Snap for many years, where do I go? And we can give them that knowledge and information and guide them. But actually, I want to work more closely with organisations where they're not just given a name or a piece of paper. They really trust that we're handing them over to someone else that can help with those next steps. So yeah, there's some really exciting things going on. Keeps us on our toes and keeps us busy. But I think that for me, and just making sure we're here doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. And I think, yeah, as you say, we were chatting beforehand. How important is collaboration to you? Because we were getting into this quite deep before we actually started this podcast around actually being able to open up to work with other people and having the right mindset to what that could potentially look like. Because what we do know is that there are, and it's not just in the voluntary sector, but it's in other sectors where people just don't want to collaborate. And I don't get that, because I think the more you do together, the stronger you're going to be and the better. And sometimes you can provide things that you never thought you'd be able to provide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm really open to it. I just think it's the way forward. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. And you've got to look at who else is out there and what are they doing, and can you use that knowledge and expertise? You know, we've worked very closely over the years with Families in Focus based in Chelmsford. They offer amazing education advice to support families with children and young people with disabilities. And for many years, they have been coming in here on a Tuesday to do education advice sessions. So, you know, our team are really good at it and know to a certain level. But if you were talking about maybe going to tribunal to get some support for your child or young person in school around education and healthcare plans, really, we don't have the capacity to be going to tribunals with families, and that's something Families in Focus are offering and have offered. So, you know, we'll get them in here on a Tuesday and they can do the education advice sessions for our families, and they can give that knowledge and advice and take them further if they need it. So we've already done quite a bit of it, but there's more opportunities out there, and I think it's really important.
Yeah, good. Because as I say, we hear a lot about charity, and a lot of new organisations to set up, and I understand why. I do understand why. However, everyone ends up going for the same money.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're there going, and you're wondering why they're not working or it's not getting where they need to. Yeah. Well, that's because actually funding pots are out there, but everyone's going for the same money.
Yeah. And actually, lots of funders now are asking, well, what do you do around collaboration? What are you going to do? And I think we're seeing lots of opportunities come up where they're saying, well, okay, if you're working with someone else to do it, then you can apply for this pot of money, but we don't want you applying for it if you're just doing it on your own.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to be doing it, and it's something we've already doing, and we've got lots of exciting ideas to do more on it.
Excellent. No, that's why that's the bit excites me. Going, yes, there's going to be more and more people doing stuff together, because I think that's just the way the world should be working.
And we had that lovely meet, didn't we? With, I always get the names of everybody wrong.
Essex Business Partnership,
Essex Business Partnership, and with other charities to actually come together a few weeks ago, didn't we? And I thought that was really promising, because there's some smaller charities there that were struggling with things that I know that someone on my team can help them with.
Yeah.
So have a half-hour phone call with one of my guys, and maybe we can help you work that one out. Or we see funding pots come through that we can't apply for anymore, but actually they could.
Yeah. And and I think the more we work together, I think the better it will
be. Yeah, definitely.
And then because I also then think we're not gonna, if we're talking about children, we're not gonna have a child fall through a net.
Yes.
Where actually they're in that middle bit. Well, actually, if we're coming together to work together, then actually we can support the child all the way through.
Yeah.
And personally, that's where I think we need to be going. So in terms of Snap at the moment, we understand that funding is always a big thing for organisation. We've obviously just elaborated on that a little bit. What other areas could you do with support with at this sort of present time at the minute?
Yeah. Well, like you say, money is a challenge, and I think it's scary actually when you look at how much things go up. You know, when I look back and I got a speech the other day that I just happened to see on the system, which I'd read a couple of years ago at a golf day, and we had to raise like that amount of money. And I think, oh my God, how much we've got to raise now? That's a bit scary. That's only like 2 years. Oh, that's a big jump. Yeah. So I do have some sleepless nights over that.
Yeah.
But, you know, we work really hard at it. But I think there are so many other ways people can help support a charity. And I think, you know, Dom and I had a conversation before we came on about, you know, when you're a charity in a networking event, quite often people are looking over your shoulder to find someone else to talk to because they think you're just going to want money.
Yeah.
So I try and make it clear right at the off that there's loads of different ways you can help work with us. So it could be from volunteering. So, you know, we have a lot of lovely volunteers, and we're doing a bit of a volunteer drive in September because we did find we were hard hit with volunteers over COVID. And I think I've read that so many places and talked to so many people that saying the same thing. So, and volunteering at Snap can be anything from popping into a preschool group and making some teas and coffees, or playing with the kids so parent can have a rest, to maybe going out there and just talking about who we are and what we do. Maybe pop along and pick up a check if somebody's doing a nice check presentation, or we're doing a fundraising event. We did a triathlon event at the Brentwood Centre last Sunday, or not yesterday, the weekend before. And we need lots of volunteers to marshal at that. So maybe give up a few hours on a Sunday morning at an event. So there's so many ways you can get involved with a charity. Maybe you've got some knowledge or expertise that we don't have on our team that we might just want to borrow, but pick your brains on something, because it's an area, you know, we're still a fairly small team. You have to wear many hats in a charity. You know, we've got people that are doing finance, that are also HR, that are also premises, that are also, you know, doing a million other jobs. You know, I'm the CEO. If I go downstairs and I don't know, one of the rooms is a bit of a mess, or the toilet I have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't have a load of cleaners that are just here on hand to do it. So, you know, we have to do many things together. And I think we're doing a lot of work around working with businesses more. And again, it's not just about money. It's about things like Baker Labels are a fantastic Snap supporters. They're a brilliant organisation in Brentwood, have been here many years. And they do things like they print stickers for us for our big event that we've got coming up in the summer for our siblings. So SIBs are really important to us. So we're very much about the whole family.
Yeah.
And we really know that our siblings can really find it hard when they've got a child in the family with SEN. So we do a fantastic event here for 4 days in the summer where we bring them all together. It's like carnage at times, because there's a lot of them in the building all day, 10 till 4 for 4 days. We completely spoil them. We just have an absolute ball, loads of fun going on, all sorts of funny things, from like slip and slide, water fights, to, you know, all sorts with all their food and everything. So Baker Labels, every year, whatever theme we go on, they do some lovely tattoo sheets and print sheets for the kids, and have supported us with our mocktail tent and inflatables for the event. So yeah, it can be loads of different ways, really. Trustees, another area, you know, where you could be helping a charity. So it's definitely not all about the money. So I love having conversations with people. As you can tell, I like to talk.
I think we both do. It's fine. This is why I set the podcast up. I just get to chat to people.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm always like, well, there must be something. Is there something we can do? How can we work together? What can we do? Yeah. So I love having those conversations to see where it can lead.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as you said, we said off air, you never know where a conversation will take you. You don't know, and it's well thought that obviously you don't know who other people know as well. So actually, you might be meeting someone and you just think it's a conversation, but actually someone they know could be really helpful to your organisation, to a family, whoever that may be.
Yeah.
But you just need to have these conversations.
Yeah, I think I don't ever switch off my Snap button. My husband says to me sometimes, "Oh God, here we go, she's off." But because you do never know. And I think it's, you know, you can stand up, someone will say to me, "Oh, you did that event, you didn't really raise much money." I said, "I don't care." There were 50 people in that room and they listened to me talk about Snap. And I showed a video about families at Snap, whatever. I said, one of them might go away. Well, it's several reasons. If they touch on families, one of them might have someone in their family that needs us.
Yeah.
So somebody might benefit, or a work colleague or whatever. Or they might go away and in 6 months' time, they might be somewhere and someone says to me, "Oh, actually, do you know, there's a really good charity in Brentwood. They're doing some great work. I reckon you could help them." You just, can't ever sort of miss those opportunities, really.
No, completely agree on that. This is why I love just getting people on to come and talk, because actually we're giving people the opportunity to talk again
Yeah,
about what they do and what their passion is and where the passion, because you look at the large percent of charities and it's all passion,
yeah, it is.
and it is about passion. It does take over,
Yeah.
but actually I think that's the sector.
Yeah. I mean, I come from I've got a cousin who has a disability, and I saw my aunt and uncle for many years find things hard for him, and he's now, he's 60 and doing brilliantly, and couldn't have done it without my aunt and uncle being as amazing as they are. But they say to me often, oh, if only we'd had Snap when he was
Yeah.
younger, what a difference that would have made to us as a family. And I think a lot of the team live it. So a lot of our team are living this life. So when they're talking, they genuinely know and understand how hard it is. And I think that's really important. And we do also have team members that have disabilities themselves or neurodiversities themselves. They're
Yeah.
quite a few of the team. And so they, again, can speak from their personal experiences. We know what it is and how hard it is. And I think that's really important. Our trustee board, we do have quite a few families on the board. So they're speaking from lived experience as well. And I think that's really important, that I think you've got to have a bit of that in you, or you wouldn't really be doing it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Completely agree on that. If someone was listening to this right now, what one thing would you want them to make? What one action would you want them to take right this minute?
It's really hard, isn't it? Because I can think of so many. I think.
Or give me 5.
Oh,
There you go. I'll let you
give
have
me
5.
I'll be here all day. I think. Do you know what? I think one thing. I think when you work in it. So to me, all the children and young people I work with, I don't see disability or need.
Yeah.
I never do. I just don't. And I think what I find really hard is when I hear of situations outside of SNAP where people haven't understood them, or if there's been something negative or something not very kind or not very nice. And I think that's one thing I would say to people is, you never know when you might need our club. So you shouldn't forget that. And actually, I think it's that being that more open and what is different, and that all the children and young people I work with they're just such amazing kids and young people and have so much to give. And so I suppose it's a bit around that disability side of it, maybe. And if you don't know and understand, ask somebody, talk to them, find out, research it. I think there's a really important, I love a lady called Francesca Martinez. She's a comedian, a writer. She's written a brilliant book around what is, and you can fill in the word yourself, normal. And she talks a lot. She has cerebral palsy, and she talks a lot about her. And she does a fantastic talk. If you go onto YouTube, you'll probably find it, about what is normal. We all have things we're good at, and we all have things we're not so good at, and we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, and all of that. So what is normal? So probably that might be my
Yeah, no, I love that.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. Karen, before I let you go, if people are interested in finding out more, where can they find you? Where can they get in touch?
Right. Well, you can look at our website, www.snapcharity.org, and we've got some fantastic information on there. And there's, it tells you exactly who we are, what we do. There's some lovely little video clips at different points on the website to show you sort of the centre and families and their experiences. There's the whole other side around our informing and guiding parents, our directory, which is on there, which is phenomenal, broken down into categories. So if you're struggling with something, you can put in the area you live in. It will tell you all the information on different organisations that can help you, or if there's a disability, you can type in a disability. So there's loads of information on there. You can pick up the phone, call our helpline on 01277 211 300. One of the team will talk to you, help you work out maybe what support you need, and guide you from there. And also, obviously, we do an amazing Snap Matters magazine, which we do 3 times a year, which really does show you who we are and what we do. And we've got a fantastic local organisation that print them free of charge. Don't want any recognition for that. There you go.
Amazing.
There
you go.
And our anniversary edition actually has a lovely little insert all about the 30 years where we've come from and where we're at. So, yeah. And please just call us or email us. And we'd love to talk to you in any aspect, whether it's a family or whether it's a supporter or whether it's someone just wants to know a bit more about who we are and what we do. Please, we love, as you can tell, we love talking about it.
But so you should. You're proud. It's about being proud of what you do.
We are. Yeah, very proud of what we do. Yeah. And Dom
Well,
said he was going to set a timer on us because we could probably talk about it.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, and it's there now. So, Karen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a great conversation, and as I say, I'm sure we could probably do a part 2.
Yeah, I reckon we could.
Definitely do a part 2. Definitely going to come down and visit as well.
Please
I'm going to come over and just see what you're doing.
The centre. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much for your time. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm your host, Dom Fenton. This is the Charity Connector, and I'll see you again soon. Take care now.